are driving in one of the most hysterical vehicles ever made. This is a 1989 Nissan S-Cargo. They only made about 8,000 of these things from 1989 through 1990. And it was only available in Japan. The S-Cargo was designed to be a light commercial delivery vehicle, the type for mom and pop shops. It was offered basically with two main options: a porthole window in back and a convertible top up there. The first thing you notice about this S-Cargo is that it's just crazy styling. Nissan's innovative pipe factory wanted to create a vehicle that was reminiscent of the French Citroën 2CV, or Deux Chevaux. The Deux Chevaux's nickname was the Snail. So naturally, when they were designing a light commercial delivery vehicle, they're like, hey, let's do a snail. Hence the S-Cargo was born. You don't get much more of a Japanese take on a crazy French idea than the S-Cargo. From the bug-eyed headlamps to the accentuated caricature of body lines to even the snails as a logo on the wheels and on the mud flaps. It's just crazy, but it's so fun. So what is it like inside the snail? That's actually not too bad. Legroom is not tremendous, but at 6'4", there's enough for me to be comfortable. The driver looks directly at this very Citroën-esque single-spoke steering wheel, a trademark for Citroën. There is a single very cool instrument pod here with a speedometer, gas gauge, temp gauge, and some dummy lights. And, well, you have heating and air conditioning. Yes, this actually has working AC and an AM/FM cassette player that came standard. Seats are, well, flat, but they're relatively comfortable, and they do adjust forward, back, and the seat back goes back. Behind me can only be called a occasional use seat. Now, there aren't any seat belts back there. Now, powering this snail is the tried and true 1.5 liter overhead cam 4. In this form, it's carbureted, just a single carburetor. Now, much has been made about the S-Car being slow, and it's really not the case. This thing has 72 horsepower, and it only weighs 2,000 pounds. And I'm here to tell you that these people who are writing these stories obviously have not been testing out good examples, because this thing is very capable of reaching highway speeds. We're doing, well, right now, 60 kilometers per hour, so 36 miles an hour. Want to get on a freeway? There's 90. There's 62, almost 63 miles an hour. It's not too loud, not too buzzy. It's actually just fine for a vehicle that has the aerodynamic properties of a barn door turned sideways riding on a big top 10. So in the US, we like to talk about government nannies and how they kind of overreach. But in the late 80s and early 90s, Japanese government nannies were even worse. So we're doing about 65 miles an hour. If we go a little bit faster, cuts in, saying the government requires you to go slower, and if you don't, we're gonna nag you until you do.
Well, here's a tip. If you don't like that annoying bell chime at highway speeds, disable it. It's not against the law. It was for Japan in 1989 and 1990. So if you don't like it, it takes about 5 minutes to fix. All you have to do is unscrew this screw here and the other one on the other side, pull this front plate off, and there's a little metal box with 2 wires at the very back. Clip the black wire, that's the ground. You can put a piece of tape on it if you want. Put it back together, and you're golden. Have these 2 front wheels pull you, well, all the way up to 85 miles an hour. No chime.
Let's talk braking. Discs up front, drums in the rear. And guess what? They actually work astonishingly well. For a tall car, it handles pretty well. We have touring tires on here. They're just 13 inches. And yes, with its center of gravity so high, it does lean into the corners. But it's not, well, VW Vanagon kind of handling. It's more kind of, hey, this is kind of fun. Let's see what we can do in it. Despite the fact it really doesn't look like it should be doing this kind of handling. Now this is really where the S-Cargo shines. In the city, in the warehouse district. You got a small business and you want to get noticed while also dropping off a package or two. You really can't beat it. It's easy to park, it's easy to see out of. You know, it gets you noticed. So do you want an S-Cargo? Well, I sure do. You can bring what you want to bring. It puts you in a good mood. It's just kind of downright fun. And hey, when the sun comes out, you can even open the top. It's all things for all people at all seasons. All hail the snail.